So, out of sheer luck, I've actually picked up Thunder Dragons again after I sold it after the Wilsonville Regional. I got lucky in Savage Strike pulling double Phantasme and a Pot of Extravagance, so I've just been rebuilding Thunder Dragons, testing it, and I'm honestly having a lot more fun with it than I have in the past now that Gold Sark's gone. Aloof Lupine being a Gold Sark that allows me to dodge Ash, which was one of my bigger issues back then, is really helpful, and I don't have to worry about drawing Garnet now that Brilliant Fusion's at 1. So, without further ado, let's get right into the profile. For the Thunder Dragons, I'm running 3 of all of them. I think it's the correct ratio for all of them. The only one you don't really want to draw turn 1 is Thunder Dragon. You'd rather search it, because you can banish all the other ones to dodge Ash when you're banishing Roar, or Dark to get your Searcher Summon, which is to get your important Searcher Summon. So, like, you go Chain Link, you banish, say, a Matrix, and then you banish Roar with the effect. You Chain Link 1 Roar, Chain Link 2 Matrix, and then you can dodge Ash, so your opponent can't Ash the Roar, which is the important search, or summon. So, yeah, I think all those being 3 of is pretty important. For the starter monsters, 3 Solar and 3 Aloof Lupine. I'm enjoying this. I'm not completely certain how I feel about Aloof Lupine yet, just because it's not a Thunder, but other than that, I think it's a pretty good monster. It's a good addition to the deck, being another Gold Sark that's searchable, but that's not searchable and can dump 2 cards instead of just 1, and dodge Ash is pretty good. So yeah. For the hand traps, you play 3 copies of Ash. I only play 3, and yes, I only own commons now because I bought the Soul Burner, and I don't want to. I got rid of my supers to pick up Soul Burner, and I don't care about this rarity on this card because I actually think this kind of looks pretty good as a common. So yeah. So for the monsters, for the spells, 3 copies of Fusion. I play 3 of this and 3 Titan. I think it's appropriate because you can continually recycle your resources. Plus, being a search during turn 2, you get like a Hawk, can basically just rebuild your board for free. Or next turn, you can use it to continually add to your board, getting like a Matrix or getting a Thunder Dragon to start beating down your opponent, clearing the way for Titan with Titan. So, I also play 3 Instant Fusion. It's a starter and it's also removal. You'd be shocked how many times at locals we have a lot of Inspect Borders. So this being being Thousand Eyes is pretty good. So. Plus, you're already running the common RA attack, so there's no reason not to run the Thousand Eyes. 3 copies Called by the Grave. This deck can lose to hand traps if you hit the Roar or the Ash or the Dark at the wrong time. So, yeah. 2 Desires. It's probably the best draw power for this deck. I'm not completely certain how I feel about Allure, just because in the side I'm playing the Kaijus, and you would usually side these out for Kaijus, but now that I'm not maining Allure, I don't really want to take this out because it's your only real draw power. 1 Gold Sark, it's really just boneless Aloof Lupine at this point, but you still want to play 1 because it's an extender, and if you do nothing else in your opponent, and you're lucky enough to where your opponent doesn't have an Ash or something, this will actually be pretty nice. For the last spell, 1 Reborn, you never take anything in your opponent's unless you're playing the Mirror. The only time I've ever taken something with this is to take my opponent's Ray, just so that they can't float into it after I kill their stuff with Titan, so yeah. In a way, it kind of works like a DD Crow or a Call by the Grave if absolutely necessary. I only play 3 traps, and it's 3 Eradicator. In the past, I've tested Kaijus, just because if you have Kaiju Slumber and Aloof Lupine and any Thunder in your hand, you can Kaiju Slumber the board, get Thunder King, and then normal summon Aloof Lupine, then you resolve Aloof Lupine's effect, banishing Roar, and then you can do the full Thunder Dragon combo, because you now have a second Thunder on the field to make the link to, so it's pretty important. But with Eradicator, I'm enjoying it because it helps in the 2 matches that I have struggled with the most in the past, which is Striker and Altergeist. So Altergeist just has an amazing matchup against this deck to begin with. If you are lucky enough to go first, this can be an absolute blowout game 1. Because if your opponent goes like Marionetta or something, you can just chain this, blow up all their traps in their hand and field, and then they're left with like maybe 2 cards in hand. So against Striker, the big thing that this hits is, other than engage, is the not multi-roll. Well, yes, multi-roll. It does hit that too, because if you let your opponent multi-roll and then you end phase do this, it banishes all their stuff. But that's not what I'm doing it for. You can hit the Widowmaker, which is basically another 3 more copies of Impermanence, which are searchable. So this being a blowout to that is really, really important. That's it for the main. Onto the side, or excuse me, the extra deck. 3 copies of Colossus. I mean, you gotta play it, because if you open the 3 of this against pretty much most decks other than Danger, you're pretty good. 3 copies of Titan. I think returning stuff continually off of the fusion is pretty important, so always having this at your disposal is really, really nice. 1,000 Eyes and 1 Kaminari. You're already running the Kaminari with the Institution, so there's no reason not to run the 1,000 Eyes. The extra deck's not really super tight here. The only thing you have to have is the 3 Colossus and then your fair amount of links. So this being removal for pretty much everything is really good. Except for the fusions. I'm depending on my locals or the day or what locals I'm going to, I will play either Boral Sword or Boral Load. So for my personal locals, I'll probably play Boral Sword because there's not really many Thunder Dragon players or big things I have to out. So Boral Sword just being able to push for a game is really important, especially against Striker, where if you caught them dead, then they're literally just dead. Where Boral Load is usually best against things like the Mirror. So if I'm going to a more competitive locals or if I'm going to regionals, I will most likely be playing that. 1 Unicorn, 1 Phoenix. These are generic link removal. I don't run Cerberus anymore. I think Cerberus is too slow, and it only targets main deck monster zones, so that's not really super great. 1 Karibo, just to out the 1,000 Eyes, and to get rid of your Matrix so you have something in the graveyard to revive with Hawk. 1 Landflinkus, this is for when you just need something on the field to get rid of, or if you need to get rid of Aloof Lupine and a Dark, just so you can get that search. Yeah. And last but not least, 2 Summoner. Yeah, I mean, you gotta play 2. It's not really super good to make turn... You make it turn 1 just because it's the only Thunder Link that we have a lot of access to. Whether or not the new Link for Thunder Dragon monster is any good, I will not know until it gets released, but at some point I'll probably cut room to make this, probably Landflinkus, but in the meantime, that's about all I got for you guys. As usual, if you guys have any questions, comments, or if anything you'd like to add to the profile, that would probably be a good idea. Please leave me a comment, and I will respond to you. I've been trying my best to respond to as many comments as I can. I obviously can't get to everybody, but I've been trying my best. So if you guys have anything, please let me know. Later.